Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. Oh, it wasn't live yesterday. It feels kind of weird being back. Hello, hello. Can you guys see me and hear me okay? StreamYard is acting up per usual. It's just been a mess, but hopefully we're good here. Hello, hello. Let me see who's here. I saw Kimmy, Debbie, Evie. Hey, Green Eye, we missed you. What's up, girl? Melly, happy Saturday. Yes, happy Saturday. We're back. We have 3 lives scheduled today, but I kind of wanted to pick your guys' brain. Do you guys want to do politics or 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 tonight? I wanted to do a marathon. I need to get caught up on that trial. Let me know what you guys are down to. I don't usually do politics, but it's a crazy time right now, clearly. But we're back with Idaho 4. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking over the recently released document. It's a 49-page document, pretty much text messages and data information regarding Dylan Mortensen's phone and her social media use the night her friends were brutally murdered. So settle in. We're going to look at this document really quick. We're going to point out some details, and then we're going to actually review Truth and Transparency's video that she did on this. I don't usually like to review the creators like that. I'll play their content, but I want to go over her live because she's someone, it just depends on how you see the case. Brian Kohberger is obviously in prison because he admitted to being guilty, but this investigation has never added up to me. And I think we can all have our different opinions. It doesn't have to be a problem. So this document basically proves that Dylan was not scared that morning and she was in no rush to call 911 and what she was doing. So Lana's live, basically, she's really good at Idaho 4. She's gone in depth on all the paperwork and FOIAs with ISP. So we're going to review her video where she goes in depth of like the discrepancies basically from what was reported to what the actual truth is. So we're going to do that. Let me pull up the document. Please hit the like button as you settle in. Politics. I know. I was thinking we could do that, but I need to get caught up on Corey Richens. And I need to get caught up. We need to get caught up before Monday because I want to follow it. I do want to follow it. Let me know if you guys are caught up on that, and if you've already watched it and you're not interested, we could definitely do something else. I did have 𝗝cie scheduled as well and 𝗠𝗲𝗃𝗏𝗃, but I need to see. So let's get this document pulled up. I'm gonna add it. So here it is. So wait, is this the right one? Yeah, this is the right one. Okay. The Demona video got delayed again. It's okay. Yeah, I was thinking of doing that after this. Kimmy, we'll see. We'll see. I know a lot of people are into the politics too right now, so I didn't know if that's something you guys were interested in. Like I said, I don't do politics here too much, but it is a crazy time in the world right now. But we're definitely still doing it in 𝗝cie for sure. Okay, so this document right here is the one that was just recently released, and it basically, it's Dylan texting Eric, the Uber driver. And like I said, we're going to review Lana's video, but allegedly this is when she messaged the Uber driver at 2:11 a.m. and then she went to bed. So this report basically states like everything she did via social media. So this section right here where it says interaction is basically, this is an app being used. And throughout this report, this has just been unsealed. So you have to question, why is it just being unsealed and what's going on? And it's opening up a can of worms because things are not matching up. So I'm also curious why they used Snapchat and Facebook calling so much rather than their real phones, like their direct. I know a lot of people communicate that way, but it seems to be like she's on Instagram and Snapchat all basically the whole time, where she's allegedly Dylan claims that she's scared, and those 8 hours where nobody called 911. So it's a little concerning. So this section right here shows an app being used from 2:11 to 2:12 a.m. Incoming and outgoing interactions, and this happens before the Uber driver responds. So remember, she's texting Eric, the Uber driver, and that text message is from 2:10 a.m. But 2:10 a.m. delivered. Down here, oh my God. I'm having StreamYard issues on my end, but I don't know if you guys can see them. It's really frustrating. So bear with me if something doesn't look right for a minute. This one is where Eric says, I am. And basically here, it also shows that all of Dylan's communications did go to her iCloud, which I don't believe was ever looked into. And I question that because if they took their cell phones on that one day, why would they not? Did they not review the iCloud stuff? Because iCloud stuff stays longer than when you delete it off your phone. So Dylan texted him at 2:10, but she didn't read it until 4:29 a.m. So this is a questionable time as into whether she was with Bethany at this time. And if she was, wouldn't this be a time where she's in fear of her life because she heard, remember, people saying, I'm going to help you, Brian in a mask, allegedly. Well, yeah, Brian in a mask. And she yelled out for her roommates and no one's answering. So very interesting that she read that at that time. This part down here shows, I'm just going through it, but we're going to listen to Lana's review. This is where she creates a new contact, and this Brittany Fernand person. I don't know much about her, but I know she is, Dylan created her contact at 3:51 a.m. So Dylan went to bed at 2:10 a.m., right? And she wakes up at 4, whatever the time is, and she's saving a contact. So I'm just wondering, did the state not look into any of these kids' phones or what? Because if they didn't, and if they did, it does change the narrative a little bit. This is from Bethany incoming at 4:19 a.m., 23 seconds. So Dylan answered a call for 23 seconds. And I'm wondering, was Bethany the one who made the alert? Someone made a good point. If she was scared, why didn't Dylan call or text her boyfriend? A boyfriend is a comfort go-to. But she's not drunk, I don't think, because like, I don't know, this, abuelita, this, it shows you guys that she was on social media rather than calling 911. So like, I just feel like, what did we not see this? Was this not included in the trial or like the case? Because it clashes with what DM is saying. So like this message, Bethany calling her at 4:19 a.m. But I thought that's when like the schmurders were happening. She's applying for jobs. You guys will see when we get there. As this is going on, if you had just seen a man in a black mask in your house and you heard weird stuff and screams and cries or whatever, why are you like on social media rather than calling 911? Lana does a good job. Truth and Transparency does a good job. We're going to review her video in a second. With this whole thing about how Bethany contacted Dylan at 4:19 first. Let's move on to the next page. So this is when she texts Xana at 4:20 a.m. 00. So that means there's no communication. And then 20 seconds later, she tries to get in contact with 𝗟𝗟. She calls 𝗟𝗓, she calls 𝗟𝗟, and then she calls Bethany back. So 4:20, exactly 4:20 a.m. She calls Xana. And then at 4:20 a.m. and 20 seconds, she calls 𝗟𝗟. And then at 4:20, all within the same minute, she calls Bethany. So it takes her 8 seconds from 𝗟𝗟 to Bethany to make that call. But I thought this was the time when she was like calling out their names and stuff and calling for them. And she said that this is when she said that she heard people in the house and that someone would have heard her. Remember? I don't remember the exact time of that, but so then Dylan texts Bethany, says no one is answering at 4:22 a.m. And then Dylan says, wait, yeah, from Dylan to Bethany, both of these. Then Dylan says, I'm really confused right now. Then she texts 𝗟𝗟 and says, 𝗟𝗟. And that's at 4:22 a.m. and 39 seconds. And she says, what's going on? And to remember, this is just Dylan's phone. This is just her side of things. Bethany says, yeah, dude, WTF. Bethany says, Xana was wearing all black. I thought Bethany hadn't seen anything yet, though. Maybe I'm confused on that part. I'm not a professional like other creators on the Idaho 4, like I am the Kenzie case or anything, but Dylan says, I'm freaking to Bethany, I'm freaking out at 4:23 a.m. Dylan says, no, it's like a ski mask almost. And then Bethany says, shut the F up. Actually, Dylan says, like he had something over his head for a little and mouth. Bethany, I'm not kidding. I am so freaked out, she says at 4:24 a.m. This is the part where I'm confused because Bethany says, so am I. Why was Bethany freaked out? She hadn't seen anything yet. So Bethany saw the masked figure before Dylan, but I thought it was only Dylan who saw him in the hallway when she opened the door. Why is Bethany saying, so am I? She's freaked out about what exactly? I kind of agree with Truth and Transparency here. What is she freaked out about? Because she had not seen or heard anything except Murphy barking at this point. And I might be wrong about that, but so and that clashes, I think, with the actual narrative, because if she saw someone and Dylan saw someone, so there was more than one person. I guess I'm a little confused about that. Hey, 𝗍𝗵, Bethany was the one that heard the thud and DM said she didn't. Okay, so she heard the thud and that's why she was freaked out. I guess I should look into that more, like that time slot. Then Dylan says, my phone is going to die. F. Bethany says, come to my room. She says, run. And then she says, down here. And on this part, it says, to 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗵𝗏. This is when Dylan tries to call or contact 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗵𝗏. She tries to contact him on Snapchat, IG, or Facebook. It's one of those. Maybe she didn't have Ethan's number. I don't know. I thought these people were good friends and they lived with each other and their partners lived with their friends. So she doesn't use her direct line, which, yeah, again, I guess people talk through like Facebook and Snapchat, but you would think in a situation of where you hear someone breaking into your house or there's someone's in danger, like you would try to contact them directly, no? Bethany heard a loud firecrack noise and saw a flash under her door on the night of the murders. So that's what freaked her out. Because she hadn't, yeah, that's the part that confused me. And then right here it says, I'm screwed though. Dylan says to Bethany, and I believe this was a part, when I saw Lana's video, she mentions that this was a huge deal in one of the Excel presentations because allegedly they misunderstood this to read as I'm so scared, but it says I'm screwed though. And again, like, was that intentional or no? And then Bethany says, yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. Which confuses me. Because does Bethany mean, is she alone? Is Bethany alone? Or did she have her little boyfriend booty call over? Because she says, yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. Or she means like, so that Dylan's not alone? Down here at 4:27 a.m., it says outgoing call. And then it jumps to outgoing message via an app like Snapchat or IG or something. And then an outgoing message again. So she's on one of those apps again. And then Kaylee, she calls Kaylee at 4:27 a.m. And that call says 6 seconds. Which confuses me because I thought the Idaho 4 were already dead at this point. So what is the 6 seconds? Maybe Dylan left a voicemail? So where's that voicemail? Hey, Adrian, good to see you. Yeah, she means come down here. We will be together. If you stay there, you will be alone. Oh, I thought it sounded maybe like she wasn't alone, like Bethany wasn't alone. Because remember, Bethany's little guy that she was dating was also interviewed. Yep, crime was between 2:30 and 4:30. So then at 4:27 a.m., what is the 6 seconds with Kaylee's phone? Maybe she did leave a voicemail. I bet people will try to FOIA that voicemail if it exists. Did someone answer and like just leave the call on? Like that's a little creepy at 4:27 a.m. when allegedly the Idaho 4 is already dead. All of them. Then it jumps to here. It says 4:27 a.m. Then she keeps going back from like app to app to app. She uses Snapchat, Indeed, Facebook, and Instagram throughout this whole period when she should be calling 911, respectfully. So she's on the phone and she's trying to get into an app to send a message. That's what this proves right here, because at 4:27:52, she gets into an app. She calls Kaylee at 4:27:47 seconds AM. So literally 5 seconds later, she's already on an app trying to send a message. Or maybe she was trying to contact them on numerous like social media. Then here it says to Xana outgoing 4:28 AM, 44 seconds. That call also is 3 seconds. But I believe this is when she was already with Bethany. Is this when she goes to Bethany's room? Dylan then sends to Kaylee at 4:32 AM and 57 seconds. So a couple seconds later, she says, please answer. And then here's where you can see that Dylan created a bunch of images, modifies them, deletes them, and they were not able to be recovered fully. So this brings up a lot of questions about, well, not a lot of question. It actually proves that Dylan did not go to sleep, guys. Whether Brian did this or not, like Dylan was not asleep. And that is exactly what the jury heard. That's what they would have heard, that he wasn't asleep, that she wasn't asleep. So that opens up the narrative to a lot of things that I guess were reported. I haven't gone through every single document in the Idaho 4. Maybe I should. But there's a gap between 4:32 and 5:02 AM. She creates these images at 5:02 AM. What is she taking pictures of and editing and then deleting? When this is a time when I thought you were horrified for your life, you're scared, you heard things, your roommates are possibly in danger, you're drunk. I just find it really odd, because if you were that concerned or scared, what are you doing with all these images? What are these images? She creates an image at 5:02 AM. Doesn't seem like she was very concerned. Modifies it at 5:02, 2 seconds later. Deletes it. 15 minutes later. She deletes 2 different images right here where it says deleted and deleted. Then down here, then it says another image created at 9:15 or 5:19, sorry, dyslexic, modifies it. Creates another image and creates a video. And I'm wondering what those were. She creates a video and an image. I don't know if that means it can be screenshots. She takes an actual picture. I'm not like a 𝗟𝗏𝗋 professional. And then right here at 6:19, it goes from 4965, created image modified. This is the same picture. Skips one numerical portion. So image 4966 is missed here. These were deleted. Why are you deleting stuff? What is going on? 66 is missing, which Lana does point out as well. And then this is when she gets into her apps. She starts using Instagram at 8:05 AM. Hello? I thought that's when you were like calling 911. No, they don't call 911 until 11 something. This is when they should have been calling 911. Hey, Ruth. Good to see you. Yeah, people decompose faster than most. The smell, I can't get over the smell. Me either. She claimed she was asleep. Well, it doesn't prove that. This report proves that Dylan was not ever asleep. She was not ever drunk, passed out, asleep. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I feel for her that she experienced this, but ma'am, you were not asleep. That's crazy. And why is this just being unsealed now? Unsealed, because this was sealed, this report. So she gets on Instagram at 8:05 a.m., 8:10. You know, I would probably be calling the police, looking for my roommates. Nothing. It's very odd, you guys, and I don't think this is how we can admit that most of us would not be acting this way. It's crazy as hell. I asked the same thing. Yeah, like you saw a black figure with a mask. You hear it's gonna be fine, whimpering and crying, dogs barking. Bethany heard the firecracker or whatever noise. Your roommates aren't answering. There's blood seeping through the walls. Of course, she didn't know that at the time, allegedly, but and I'm just like wondering, like, that's what you think of? You think of getting on Snapchat and Instagram and applying for jobs? It just doesn't. It proves that she wasn't concerned. It's a lie because she says that she was so scared and so drunk and doesn't remember, but these data reports prove otherwise. This line right here is redacted and it's redacted by whiteout. So I know that Lana was saying in her review that that's sus because police departments wouldn't redact that like this. And this also, I guess it's questionable to what Bethany was doing at this time because Dylan's sitting here on Instagram at 8:14, 8:11 to 8:14, but Bethany had called her dad at 7. So Bethany and Dylan, like, what was going on? What was their interactions about this whole situation? Questionable. Down here, she's still on Instagram. Now it's 10 a.m. 10 a.m. and 45 seconds. Instagram. Instagram finally stops. So from like 8:11 until about 10 o'clock. Exactly at 10 o'clock too. Instagram stops. I'm almost wondering if there was like an alarm here too. At 10 o'clock a.m., she starts sending an outgoing message again via Instagram. Direct messages. Outgoing, outgoing, outgoing. So who's receiving all of these messages? 10 to 10:01. Like crazy. Then finally down here it says incoming. So for a minute she sends like numerous messages, which I'm assuming is different people trying to get a hold of all the roommates. So she just woke up and didn't think anything of it. Were they, what was, you know what I mean? Still outgoing messages. 10:01, still outgoing messages, still outgoing. Still on Instagram. Up until 10:03 a.m. Then she starts job searching and job applying. Again, your roommates are not making any noise. You've been up since 8:11 on Instagram. After everything that happened last night, you're just gonna lay there and look for jobs. The concern is very minimal here. Maybe she just thought everybody was passed out. Was there urgency and concern for them? No, it doesn't seem like it at all. Then called the other kids. Dang, I'm at blank with names. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of names involved. I'm at blank with them too. She called some friends to come over, right? So I guess maybe this is what all these outgoing messages are. But again, 10:03, she starts job searching, applying, actually, because it says apply. Wild. That's really wild to me. Down here at 10:03, still applying. Okay, yeah, she's still applying. Oh, right here is when 10:04, incoming message, Snapchat. She goes back to Snapchat. A lot of social media for such a crazy night. 10:05 outgoing message. So I guess I'm wondering who she was texting at this point. Because they said that they woke up from 10:30 to 11, but that's not true because Dylan was already up. Bethany told the police she had just woken up. No, because they were on their phones since 7 a.m. And none of these messages are to any of the victims, I don't believe. So if you're on Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook, what about the victims? So from 10:05 to 10:20, no activity. From 4:40 to 5, there's a 20-minute gap. From 5:19 to 6:19, another gap. In the stories that don't line up. Let's watch. This is more incoming message, incoming, outgoing, Snapchat, I think it's what it is mainly here, Snapchat. And yeah, incoming. Now we're at 10:30. Incoming, outgoing. The police, I thought, took these phones too. And I'm sure downloaded all of this. Why does DM keep switching from text to apps? So 10:21 a.m. is when, wait, still outgoing, incoming. Okay, so 10:23. Wait, let me go back. Right here. I think I skipped this. Yeah, Dylan says to Maddie, finally. I think this is the first contact to one of the roommates. At 10:23, says, "Are you up?" Finally. And then goes back to Instagram. So I'm wondering what that was all about. Back to Instagram. Still on Instagram. Or Snapchat. I can't tell. Incoming, still doing that. Okay, 10:56 a.m. 11:02, Instagram. Okay, it's still Instagram. Still Instagram at 11:11. The reason I'm going through this timeline is because she's on Snap back and forth, messaging different people. I guess maybe those are all the people that she was calling to come over, ? Then Dylan texts Kaylee at 11:29 a.m. So she texts Maddie, gets on social media, doesn't hear back. Then she texts Kaylee an hour later and says, "Are you up?" If one didn't respond, I guess maybe you wouldn't go look. You wouldn't go look. Maybe not. Maybe she did truly believe they were sleeping after all the weirdness that had happened and after seeing a perpetrator in their house. So then she goes back to Snapchat or Instagram. I don't know, one of the two. Oh, and then TikTok. Just kidding. She switches from Snapchat or Instagram to TikTok. Well, she gets on Yik Yak and then to TikTok at 11:36 a.m. Okay, 11:36 a.m. But they call 911 I thought it was 11:48 a.m. Let me fast forward on the report. Yeah, I thought they called at 11:48 a.m. So she's literally on these apps. Yeah. Yeah, like 11 something a.m. So outgoing messages, outgoing TikTok, TikTok. So right before TikTok, TikTok, more TikTok. More TikTok. TikTok. I'm just kind of going through these pretty fast because it's all social media. So then this is when, okay, her dad finally texts her at 11:39 a.m. Hey DMM, when can I call you today and just chat? Does one work or is two better? Dad sends at 11:39 a.m. Dylan reads it at 11:39. She responds, two works better. And I'm just confused. I thought you were just getting ready to call 911, like you weren't going to tell your dad any of that. Like, what's going on here? These were deleted messages as well. So why would you delete them? One, 4 murders just happened. Isn't this a serious crisis? Like, you're getting ready to call 911 if you haven't already. And then just text her dad, like, yeah, 2 works better. Her dad says, okay, I'll call you at 2, just 5 to 10 minutes, want to catch up. But I believe this is the time when she was allegedly calling people to the house, the friends. Jenna says to Dylan at 11:50 a.m., bro. So Jenna texts Dylan. Dylan doesn't read it until 2:12 p.m. Bethany knows what's going on. So Bethany reached out to Jenna. Jenna reaches out to Dylan. So Bethany didn't or Dylan didn't notify anyone. I think it was Bethany. And then at 11:44, back on Instagram. Back on Instagram. And then down here, she tries to call Emily a lot. Outgoing, 1 minute and 48 seconds on Snapchat at 11:50 a.m. I don't know who Emily is. Maybe one of the other friends that's in their group. Jenna says at 11:51, do you guys need me to come get you? Again, Dylan didn't read that till 2:12, which is way after the fact, and when she's allegedly supposed to meet with her dad or talk to her dad. 11:54, back on Instagram. They called 911 at 11:58. So she's back on Instagram again up until the time they call 911. So lots of social media use, lots of time to Emily's Hunter's girlfriend. Oh, okay, yeah. See, I'm not the best with names. There's too many. Let's watch Lana's review. She makes a lot of good points, truth and transparency. I'll speed it up too, because that way we don't have to watch. And we probably won't watch the whole thing, but she makes a lot of this. She caught on to a lot of the same things that I caught on to, and she's way more, like, she's read a lot of the documents. So I'll link her in the description as well. Let me share the video. She was taking selfies and doing videos while being scared to death in her room. That's the main point. You're like, why are you reviewing this document, Millie? Because it's you guys, this isn't what's allegedly said in the other court documents. This isn't the truth. And again, 8 hours, but you're on Instagram, you're on Indeed applying for jobs. This is weird. When 4 people just died in your house, they were brutally murdered. Because app stuff makes it invisible. Well, that's what they think, right? They like people think that because Snapchat deletes stuff right away, that's no longer accessible. Not true. It's really weird. Lots of discrepancies, but let's watch a little bit of Truth and Transparency's video. She does really good on this. She makes a lot of the points that I said too.
Well, We'll come back to it.
She's a creator who's been, she's like FOIA'd for this case and stuff too. So quick disclaimer. Okay, let's watch a little bit of this.
Here we go. Again, good morning. So it goes in order of what they were going to talk about. And here is, again, the state was trying to say that what they presented to the grand jury was that Dylan Mortensen had messaged Eric Gower, the Uber driver, at 2:11, and that basically after this text message at, 2:10 and 29 seconds, "Are you driving tonight by chance?" to Eric, that she then went to bed. He then responded, and then she never responded, and then she went to bed. Now, a couple of different things are happening here. There is an app being used between 2:11 and 17 seconds to 2:12 and 9 seconds where there's incoming and outgoing messages, as you can see right here. That happens before then, right here, Eric writing back to Dylan and saying, "I am," now, which was at 4:29 and 17 seconds. And that says red. Do you see up there where it says red? 4:29 and 17 seconds. But do you see down here where it says 11:13, 2:13 a.m.? Okay, now we're going to have a really interesting talk right now. So the first bombshell for me is this right here. Now, Eric texts her right back. And this is the first time that we're ever getting this information, which is I want you guys to see where it says from Eric. Do you see where it says 2 and 2? So it's going to Dylan's cell phone, okay, as well as to Dylan's iCloud account. It's not. And I have a bunch of questions about that. So we're going to like just pause that for right now. But what's important to understand is that this wasn't just being sent to her phone via, phone to phone text messaging here in Apple. They redacted whatever her iCloud account would be. But if she was sending all this stuff to the cloud, her shit is like how Trooper Proctor shit is. Backed up to the cloud for days. Now, what the state is trying to suggest here is that, yep, see, Dylan texted him at 2:10 and 30 seconds, and then she didn't even know that he had responded back to her because she had went to sleep, and she didn't wake up until, and that's where you see here this red 4:29 and 17 seconds. Well, you can look at this a bunch of different ways. First way that we're going to look at it is I don't even look at my text messages, nor do I text a message anybody back. If I do what? If I was to use an app to call them, use like a Facebook Messenger app, if I used, if I said 2:25, but 12:25 or 12:20. So I'm like, that's interesting. But she reads it though at 4:29 and 17 seconds. And that would be reading it for the first time and looking at it in the bedroom potentially of Bethany, if she's already down there at the time. I wouldn't even be interested in anything like that at 4:29 because what's going on at that time? Well, what's going on at that time is you're in the midst of, there's somebody in your house, you just saw a masked man.
Yes, that's why I wanted to show that because I don't always agree with the channels, but I do agree with her at this point. Why this was the time that you should be fearing for your life.
Okay.
Right?
That would be, you had no, hey, I'm looking at my text messages. I'm going back through, and clicking, how you just click and it pulls up. So, yeah. Next. This is the big contact here.
Good question. How come we aren't seeing all the stuff she did on the apps during that time if it's all saved and never deleted? Why was this unsealed like 2 days ago? The case is like over and stuff, right? Allegedly.
Dylan adds and creates a new contact at 3:51 and 3 seconds, which is a name that we're going to talk about. And that name is somebody that she spells the name completely wrong. So we're going to come back to that. But it's at 3:51 and some change. Well, this kind of blows up the state's narrative that Dylan went to bed at 2:10 after texting Eric and doesn't wake up until, 4 whatever to her roommates. And well, that's not accurate. How is she safe?
Nope. It's not.
Being a contact at 3:51 in the morning if she is asleep, right?
And that's why I wanted to go over this report, because we could have many opinions on this, and Brian's arrested and Dylan's a victim, but why lie? Like, why lie?
So the big issue here is that Ann Taylor was explaining to the courts, we know way more now than we did then, because the state didn't go, and they can either act like they don't know, or they didn't take the time to and didn't want to open up and look into any of these kids' phones, because it would tell a totally different story than that you are going to try to sell to the grand jury. So Ann Taylor didn't want that narrative to be represented again, that Dylan was sleeping from 2:10 until 4:19, basically. Okay. So Bethany, from Bethany here.
Yeah, I thought Bethany was so blacked out drunk she didn't know what was what, but she's saving contact.
4:19 and 7 seconds. This is your first call.
Dylan, not Bethany, but Dylan.
An incoming call. We know that she answered it. This is what the glorious part of this is. If this was an outgoing call from Dylan to Bethany, we wouldn't be able to say that the 23 seconds was actually that of somebody answering it. But because it was an incoming call to Dylan, that's when you can say, yep, she answered that, and they talked for 23 seconds. So there was, and then the number one thing here is
so I'm assuming that's when she panicked, but she's also saving a contact.
Wasn't Dylan ever alerting anybody to anything or calling her her roommates or texting her roommates. Okay. It was Bethany kicking all of this off. And this is why Ann Taylor believed that Bethany had exculpatory evidence in what she saw and what she heard, because everything originated not where people are saying, but coming in through the front door, leaving, and then leaving through the front door. That would be exculpatory, because it would clash completely with what either Dylan is saying, or it's in addition to what Dylan saw, and then that's multiple people. But I think what's even more important here is
Kimmy says, if you call a number, hear the voicemail greeting, immediately hang up. The call has connected to the carrier's voicemail system. Phone records generally log the time from when the call connects. So she was just on there, like, leaving a random, like, unknown voicemail.
That Dylan's statements to Officer Noonan's on scene, coupled with right after with Mowry at the police department. And then you're going to go throw in Gooch and Blaker just on the 17th, a couple days later. There is no time for the whole texting and hearing things and somebody running up and down and all of that. Where are you placing that now and happening?
Yep.
Where are you placing it?
When did that happen?
You heard Murphy dancing with Kaylee and Kaylee going upstairs. Was that way earlier? Like at 2:50?
But I thought you were passed out.
Which would then coincide with, was that when you heard the crying? Was that when you heard, I'm here to help you? Because if Bethany is alerting Dylan to saying, hey, what's going on? Or, hey, whatever she said to her in those 23 seconds, then to Xana, Dylan's 4:20 on the dot, 0 times. Like there's nothing there, because this is an outgoing call. 0. So she calls Xana and she calls Kaylee. Now remember, what's supposed to be happening here is this whole, I'm calling out their names.
Yeah, exactly. Poor Murphy, dogs get traumatized from stuff like this. I know, it's really sad.
Calling for them. Remember that? I'm not just calling them on the phone. She's like, the person that was in here would have heard me calling out for them. I was calling out their names. I was texting, calling them.
Dylan said that herself in the interrogation.
Out their names.
Interview.
Okay. But she doesn't do anything prior to that phone call at 4:19. So she calls Xana, she calls Kaylee,
calls Bethany
back. 41 seconds. So The Xana call lasted longer because it took her longer than to call Kaylee. But then here, Kaylee at 4:20 and 20 seconds, she's able to call Bethany at 4:20 and 28 seconds versus the 4:20 on the dot. It took her 20 seconds to make the next call, but it only took her 8 seconds to then call Bethany. So
I don't even know, like, I know this was a couple years ago, but I don't even know, like, about the whole voicemail thing because, now iPhone does that whole new thing where you can start leaving a voicemail and then answer. It's like their new feature. It's wild. Someone hangs up right when the voicemail picks up without listening to the greeting. It shows 0. She would have had to go to the bathroom.
Then when she calls Bethany, they have a 41-second conversation. Then she hangs up after she has that 41-second conversation, and she calls Maddie. Then Dylan says 4:22 and 8 seconds. No one is answering to Dylan or to Bethany. She texts her that. From Dylan to Bethany and to her own iCloud account. See that? From Dylan and everything to...
You would think law enforcement retrieved her whole iCloud account, ?
So it's going to her iCloud account.
Maybe not.
From anything that has to do with Dylan, it's going to her iCloud account.
This is just part of, I believe, one of the documents. I think the rest are still sealed.
I'm really confused right now. Again, look at the participants. That didn't just, like, that went to the iCloud account as well. And then she writes to Kaylee by just saying the word Kaylee. What's going on? Then Bethany. Yeah, dude, what the fuck? Remember, this is only Dylan's. This is only Dylan's. This has nothing to do with what Bethany's doing with her phone right now. This is just everything to do with Dylan.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to get everyone's report like this. It makes enemies of Dylan's accounts because even if you delete iCloud, even if deleted, I can pull up iCloud what you put there too. Yeah, that's what I've experienced. I feel bad for all the girls that are alive now. It's still traumatic how you still look at it. Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Then Bethany says Xana was wearing all black. Again, 4:23 and 28 seconds. This is at least a minute after that car drove away. I'm freaking out right now. No, it's like ski mask almost. STFU. Actually, like he had something over.
But like, even if this is going on, like she's like explaining, oh, someone had a ski mask on. Why would you still sit there and apply for jobs and get on Instagram without calling 911 or doing something or calling your boyfriend? Or what about those friends that came over? Like, you couldn't have called them earlier? Like, you just lay in bed. What if the perp was still in the house from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m.? You were never sleeping like you said you were. You're applying for jobs.
Had a little in mouth. Bethany, I'm not kidding. I am so freaked out. So am I. Okay, ready for this part right here? What could possibly Bethany be so freaked out about? You understand? Bethany says that she hasn't heard or seen anything in terms of just, hey, what's that noise? I thought I heard like what, Murphy barking? What, a cup from upstairs falling from the beer pong table? In order for Bethany to have been, I'm so freaked out like as well. What is freaking you out? I would say, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what's going on. But by me having a conversation with somebody, it'd be depending upon what they told me. So this right here this would have kicked in, And
even you could even call the non-emergency line, right? And tell them that you're in your room scared. Call a friend, call your family. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be able to just sit there and apply for jobs after seeing someone in a black mask, hearing all this stuff going on. No one's answering me. Like, are my friends okay? Like, all right, I'll just go back to indeed.com and apply for jobs. But fuck my friends. We'll get to them later. Like,
and teams had been like, what is Bethany freaked out about? What did Bethany see or hear? Or, oh, Dylan saying she saw a masked man?
did Bethany see one too? So that would mean more than one.
Bethany seeing somebody too? My phone is going to die. Fuck. Come to my room. Run. Down here. Then see where it says 2 and it doesn't have Ethan Chapin's phone number? Okay. She does not call Ethan Chapin's direct line. She either uses Facebook to Facebook, Insta to Insta, Snapchat, some type of call like that at 4:24 and 39 seconds. So we can now put that to rest that she actually uses an app to call Ethan. Then at
yeah, so they're like roommates and stuff, and they don't have each other's numbers or what? Because I'm not gonna have a roommate where I don't have all their contact information. Like, yeah, it's your friend's boyfriend or whatever, but they all live together. I don't know. Maybe younger people don't think about that? Question mark.
4:24 and 52 seconds here. There is this outgoing message, which after she tries to call, I believe then she sends a outgoing message using that same app.
And again, I call the non-emergency line all the time. Like all the time. So again, you guys, if no concern.
So if you look at this 4:24 and 39 seconds, and it's 4:24 and 52 seconds. Yeah. And I believe that it's Snap. From Dylan to Bethany. I'm scared though. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. Holy
yeah, this is, remember that I'm scared though, but it's I'm screwed.
Shit. This has been reported wrong to all of us. This text message here. I'm 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆 though. Remember that thing people are like, I'm so screwed? There's no I'm so in there. It's I'm this word and then though. How could these people mess that up though when they're typing up to say what Dylan said?
Putting the slip. That's funny to me.
Like, this is all you have to get right here. You just have to write it right. But guess what? It is kind of hard when you have autocorrect and you're trying to do something like this, as well as if you're using AI programs. But before it was, what I'm talking about is the Excel spreadsheet that they put together. I'm scared though, okay? But it was never typed this way. There was always a I'm so
scared. Yeah.
So if everybody understands what I'm talking about, it's the Excel spreadsheet that they typed up to try to say what this text said that got messed up. And there was a I'm so, because that's why people were saying I'm screwed. I'm so screwed. But it's I'm scared. I'm scared though. And now I understand why Hitler was like, she totally meant to say I'm scared. It's really, I mean, it's obvious as fuck. I'm scared though. But now this is where it should be kicking in high gear here for I'm so scared or I'm scared. Doesn't matter. Why is nobody calling the police, right?
Yes. Why is nobody calling the police?
How then in an interview is Dylan telling a police?
We don't like cop callers, but we do like them and need them when you actually think something bad happened, right?
Officer that she's not scared. That she's not scared. How is a police officer not saying, like, this is what you're writing? Bethany then says, yeah, I know. but it's better than being alone.
This I'm like with Bethany alone, Truth and Transparency thinks maybe not, and she was with Kai, her like hookup buddy, but I don't think we've seen that interview, have we? Kai being interviewed by the police.
Again, what were you guys scared of?
I haven't.
How could both of you guys be scared? I'm not going to be scared because you're scared. Do you understand that? If you were to call me on the phone and you told me something and I didn't see anything, I'm going to say, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Why don't you want to leave your room? Like, what's going on up there? I don't know. I'm not going out there. Someone's crying, or like you'd be given like a play-by-play. I don't know. Then go ask them why they're fighting, why they're crying. It doesn't make any sense.
Or call the police.
It doesn't make any sense that you'd be like that. Why would Bethany be scared? Because for all she knows, Dylan's drunk. Think about when you're drunk and you're just, dude, just come down here. I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I cannot emphasize this enough to you guys that this text message to me, Bethany writing this to Dylan saying, yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. It's almost like, how do you not? It's like Bethany is not alone. Bethany has somebody down there. Yeah, come down to my room. Run down here.
Okay, and that I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that Bethany is not alone, but to each their own. Calling the cops is a big deal. Okay, thank you, Harlot. I was just going to go into the whole fraternity, sorority thing of it all. They can't call the cops, right? It would have ruined their lives. I know that it's weird with that college stuff. I know, like, you're not even supposed to like I watched this other video where a sorority or whatever, they couldn't even give out the contact for their, like, what do you call it, the people in charge? Like in Jelly call them like the house mom. Whatever, the house mom or person, right? You're not even allowed to give out their information to police. I know that that's a thing sometimes.
Okay, because I'm not alone. So it's like, it's better than being alone. Telling her it's better that she's with somebody in that room. Run down here.
Yeah, cops have been to Harlot. Well, you make a good point. They've came out repeatedly a lot. Just call her boyfriend then. Exactly. They were all underage drinking. Yeah, but you would think that your friends' lives would matter more than you guys getting caught for underage drinking, question mark?
She's like, yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. Like, she doesn't have to be alone. Come down here. I think that would be written differently if Bethany was alone. Bethany's with somebody in that room. So yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. And this is where the big conversation that comes into why Kai Davis was ever interviewed. He should have been interviewed right away, but, and you guys can say, hey, we see it totally different. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Kai Davis was interviewed for a reason. Kai Davis was the person.
So Bethany's hookup buddy was interviewed. I haven't seen that out with a FOIA, through FOIA.
That Bethany was hooking up with. So
I need to find that.
Then
I want to see that.
At 4:27 and 11 seconds and at 4:27 and 30 seconds, an outgoing call again, and then an outgoing message, and that's using an app. Then at 4:27,
so she's calling and using social media at the same time.
40 seconds, again, an outgoing message. See how they're outgoing call, outgoing message, outgoing message.
But your friends are already dead at this point.
At 4:27 and 47 seconds, a call, an outgoing call to 𝗲𝗄𝗄, 6 seconds. And now I want you.
That's the part where I'm a little bit confused about, because we have been talking about, I don't know how it concludes if you leave a voicemail or not, but you guys might know more than me.
You guys look at this. See how it says 6 seconds there? Look at the outgoing call here to 𝗲𝗄𝗄.
I'm gonna speed it up.
See how it says 0 seconds? There's a potentiality for there to be a voicemail that she would have left Kaylee, since Kaylee says 6 seconds there. See how Maddie or Xana says 0, 0? It's like almost like she hung up before to leave a voicemail. Like you get the voicemail, but then she's, clicking it. But here it says 6 seconds to Kaylee. So I think that's something that's interesting.
Oh, okay. So I got it now, the voicemail thing. So if you let it get to voicemail, then it starts counting. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. I guess I should look at my own voicemails, because now with iPhone, you can freaking answer in the middle of a voicemail. People were leaving me voicemails and I'm like, hello. And they're like, oh, I was just leaving you a voicemail. And I'm like, that is very interesting.
Kaylee, 6 seconds. All right.
It's
then
nice.
at 4:27 seconds,
I'm
another
complaining. I kind of like it.
But... message. So 4:27 and 47 seconds. See that? And then basically, while she's on the phone, she's already looking down at her phone to get into an app to then send an outgoing message. Then Xana outgoing 3 seconds.
But wasn't this crime 4 years ago? Yeah, it was, actually. It's been a hell of a long time. If she knew they had been attacked, I'm sure she would have called. Dylan and Bethany were the scaredy cats of the group, and their friends were known for playing pranks. Whenever we drank, we'd hide the bottles. There isn't shit the cops can do if you see. Take it from me, too. The drinking, I don't think would have been a problem. I love ramen noodles, too. There's a party house in and out all of the time. Yes, rug house, too. Ethan had a lethal amount of Adderall in his system.
Then at 4:32, so this is where I believe the rundown happens. The rundown is after the 4:28 and 44 seconds, in my opinion, because see how it's 4:28 and 44 seconds. This is then when I think that she makes her way to go to.
That's too fast.
Bethany's room is between the 4:28 and 4:32, which is almost 4:33. The text message here. Please answer. Then, now this is all new shit.
This is where I thought it was the pictures too. I'm like, ooh.
New shit to the point of, and to prove that Dylan did not go to sleep. She did not go to sleep and fall asleep at, like shortly thereafter getting down into Bethany's room. Well, Lana, how do you know that? Well, because of exactly what 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗆 found and was in his report, which is at 5:02 and 54 seconds. There is this is image. It's a picture.
Yeah, I'm really wondering too, like, what was she doing at this time? Allegedly, she was asleep, passed out, didn't know what was going on, but she's on social media and applying for jobs and all of that. And then taking pictures, editing pictures, deleting pictures.
Sure, see this is JPG behind. See how it's 1368. Each time you would take an image, it assigns a number to the image that you take. So here we have at 5:02 and 54 seconds, Dylan created an image. Then 2 seconds after, there's a modification to it in some capacity. And then at 5:17 and 31 seconds, so then 15 minutes goes by. And she deleted, right here, she's deleting 2 different images, 4953 and 4954. And what that seems to me is it's going to fall in some type of, when you take a picture using, let's say, Snapchat, and you don't save it to your roll, like your photograph roll, but it's just in the Snapchat part, it'd be like located there. But this isn't located where the JPEGs are. So, but so she's going into some area, and she's deleting 2 different HEICs. And again, that's at 5:17 and 31 seconds. Then at 5:19 and 43 seconds, she's creating. So it says created. Mm-hmm. Again, I would love.
And yeah, I would love to know too, like, what are these? Are these screenshots? Pictures and pictures of what? Why aren't they in the FOIA documents?
I would love to hear what these two new creations are. Well, there's a creation and a modification, and there's a creation and a modification. And one of them is an image, and then one of them is a video. So you're creating a video. Creating a video. Creating, right here, video. At 5:19 in the morning in 46 seconds. Then images. Exactly almost an hour later at 6:19. Now I'm going to scroll back up. Um, 4965.
And then considering how bad the crimes, yeah, I know. Santa fought for her life on her feet. Had to have been that loud, that had to have been loud in that echo house. But apparently not loud enough to be concerned.
Created, modified. 4967. Created.
That's even more of a reason to be concerned with what just happened upstairs.
4968. Well, where is 4966? Isn't that?
Yeah.
See how 66 is missing?
It is missing. I wonder what that means.
And I think that some of the stuff is missing because not always when you can't always restore everything. When somebody tries to delete stuff, you can't always get it back. Even if you're using one of the amazing tools that we have, you're going to miss stuff. Like when I say you're going to miss it, no, like, I mean, it's going to be lost in translation. Not because that's what happens. You're when you delete stuff and you try to make it so that's completely gone off your phone. Yeah, a lot of our tools that we have recover that stuff, but some stuff is just not recoverable. So see where it goes from 4965 to 4967.
Mm-hmm.
That means 4966 is missing.
What does that mean?
And it wasn't created, because what it would show is that it was created, but clearly it had to have been because you cannot get to 4967 before you do something with 4966. So, woo. Damn. Also remember, this is not all inclusive.
So we could be looking at just partial of the report.
Then after these images were created, modified, created, and then modification there. 625 back over here, video. And that's like creating like a
another
movie.
video.
MOV, like that's what I create and say.
A movie. What was she doing at 6:25 a.m.?
When I'm making some of my clips.
I thought she was blacked out drunk.
So if you're using like an app that's creating like it's like think about being on social media and you're getting your pictures and you're creating like a collage and then you're creating like a little, I mean, that's what it looks like. That's what shows me. But when you're creating a new image, you can technically, it could be something from a past image, because then if you take a screenshot of what you're trying to create, or then you're saving something that you're making, it would then go into your role. You understand? So it doesn't mean that you have to like actually take a picture. It's you have to be doing something, a command that would log it in that role. So that's how I understand it. But how about this? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the fuck is being done. It's being done.
Yep.
There's nobody sleeping here. Okay.
Exactly.
There's nobody sleeping here. There's nobody sleeping. Okay.
Why lie about you sleeping?
Text. Please answer at 4:32. Okay. Then you have a gap. I don't know how you would be playing on social media and making and creating pictures and
like she was like creating like a TikTok or something.
That doesn't make any sense. Unless you've identified that whatever it is that you thought you were scared of, you're not scared of anymore. Think about when you're in your own home and you hear a noise. Okay.
Yep.
Think about that. That's just hearing something. This is seeing something. But until I identify in that whatever's going on, there's nothing there. There's nothing going on. I'm fine. I'm not moving on to playing on my phone. Okay, unless I'm grabbing my phone to call 911. But and I think seeing a masked man is different than hearing, you know, your ice machine break the ice and you're like, what was that noise? You know, or something that's going on in the middle of the night.
Dude, I hear like everything. And if I heard a concerning noise, my ass ain't going back to sleep, like not checking it. I guess we're all different.
Neighbor's dog barking. Getting up, looking out the window. All right. So after the whole, remember I said there was like an hour gap, and then here you come back. So it's like stuff's happening at the beginning of the 5 o'clock hour and going until 5:19. Then an hour later, at 6:19, you know, then it goes all the way to 6:25. Then Dylan's phone after 6:25, she has at 8:05 in the morning, she's on Instagram. Okay. She's using the application Instagram. And she's continuing to use the application Instagram at 8:06 and 17 seconds, 8:10, you know, just scrolling along, 8:11, 8:13, 8:14, 8:14, 8:14. Then between
even if I wasn't scared, like, okay, I would still have woke my ass up and gone up there and been like, excuse me, what were you guys doing last night with that mask on? Like playing those jokes, like with my roommate. You know what I mean? Like I would have woken up and not have gotten on Instagram.
8:14 and 10 o'clock, there is something that's been redacted right there. See that how it's a white out there?
That's weird. Yeah. I mentioned
now I don't know if it was like, hey, that's a mistake by the person that actually did this and wrote this up. I don't think so. Bethany woke up at 7 to call her dad repeatedly.
Okay, so there you go. Bethany woke up at 7.
What was Bethany doing when this is happening? Because Bethany woke up at 7 to call her dad repeatedly. And then during the 8 o'clock hour was calling her mom's. You know, there was all that stuff.
So Bethany was calling her parents and everything, and Dylan was just like in her bed on Instagram.
So going back to Dylan here, she's back on Instagram, 10. Then at same thing, she's just scrolling around, 10 a.m. 45 seconds, 56 seconds, and 10:01. Again, it's just, now the outgoing messages start. So here it is. Log entries right here. Outgoing message at 10 o'clock and 56 seconds. And now this is where we get into the, okay, what's going on here?
And they have this report, this document. So, you know, they definitely looked into her phone and whatnot.
Who's receiving these messages? Who's messaging back?
Yep.
You're using the Instagram option in like the DMs, basically it's private messenger. And now in those, you can have multiple.
Yeah, I know. And I'm not a supporter of Dylan. Like I'm not trying to victim blame her, but just like Kimmy said, you don't even need to be a pro-burger person to think this is a very suspicious case. Exactly. Like facts are facts. They're in the document. Thank you, 𝗃𝗄𝗆. Love you too. Thank you for being a member for 3 months. I appreciate you. You're awesome. I think I was reading. I mean, how could she not have been scared? A masked man in the house minus all other circumstances. Dude, just the mask itself. Even if it was my roommates dicking around, I would still be like, yo, we were drunk last night, but yo, what was that last night? Like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, you were a little drunk.
People, if you have like group messages. So this doesn't just have to be 1v1. But for argument purposes, let's say that it is. Outgoing message, outgoing message, outgoing message. So this would be at like 10 o'clock and 56 seconds, outgoing. Then at 10:01 and 9 seconds, outgoing. 10:01 and 17, outgoing.
And I also wonder, like, what was their routine? Like, you guys just party all night and don't wake up till 10? Because I thought they partied all night and then partied usually the next day, and they all had shit to do. So I'm just wondering, like, what their daily routine is like and if it matches up with this routine that Dylan is just laying in bed.
Going. Here's your first
not communicating with her roommates.
Coming. 10:01 and 25 seconds. Incoming. 10:01 and 25 seconds. 10:01 and 31 seconds. Outgoing. 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 Then back to scrolling. I mean, we're only at 10:01 and 53 seconds in the morning. Then still scrolling. Then at 10:03, Indeed. So, when Steve's saying, hey, this is just somebody that was like, yep, on social media and like looking at like job applications or whatever. Well, it's also somebody that's using the private messaging capabilities to text. Okay. Indeed. So you're scrolling the site of Indeed. Absolutely. What's happening? Then here we get into the messaging again. Now, right here is Snapchat. 10:04 and 54 seconds. Now, if you guys can recall, one of my sources, Dave said that Snapchat was off the hook that morning. Here's proof. My source was accurate and was truthful. This is the Snapchat.
But why was Snapchat off the hook? Like, what was going on? They're just all trying to contact each other or what?
App being utilized right here at 10:04 and 54 seconds. Incoming message. Now, I want you to look at this because there's an incoming message here at 10:04 and 54 seconds before there is ever an outgoing message. Okay. So I want you to think about something here. I want you to think about coming back up here and look at Instagram. And Instagram was being used to send messages. Okay. Let's go back. Right here. Right here. These are all Snapchat here too. Did I say Instagram here? Instagram was up there earlier. Okay, here. Then it switches here at 10:00. She switches. And now it looks like we're into Snapchat here. Because next to the Instagram, you're going to have I think she's using both.
And like maybe she was on this. Maybe she didn't think there was any danger, but then you told police that you were scared and you were passed out, right? And drunk.
Yeah, wow. She was using Instagram and using Snap. Oh, but she was just using the Snap to text, actually. I thought there was a couple Instagram DMs. Because that's just a usage log. Okay. So then at 10:00 and 56 seconds, actually, that's when she's beginning to use her Snap. And these are all so outgoing. Damn. So yeah, she's jumping around between 3 different apps. Indeed, Instagram, and Snap. All at the same time. See how it says apply right there? Apply.
Yeah, she's
applying for jobs. I would love to know where those jobs were located. I would love to know what the jobs were. And then here it is back to 10:04.
I don't know if I'm that concerned with the jobs, but it's a very odd thing to be doing after you see a masked person in your house.
Incoming message.
Unless you knew there was no danger, but how do you know that? Because you're allegedly been passed out sleeping.
Then back to outgoing. And now I know that.
And if you knew there was no danger, then that means that you talked to your roommates, but you couldn't have because they were all dead. Blood seeping through the walls. But if you did wake up and knew there was no danger, then perhaps you went upstairs. ? But then you would have seen the crime scene.
My source had his Snap. Nobody just woke up like they told the grand jury. They went to bed and woke up and then texted them, meaning the roommates upstairs, right when they woke up and because they realized that they weren't up yet. It's like, no, nobody woke up here at 10:30 and 11:30 in the morning. Okay. Bethany told the police that she basically had woken up. That's just not true.
But she said she didn't see Xana until the friends were there, right?
True. And so, hey, that's just not true. So anyways, you have all these outgoing messages, incoming messages, outgoing messages, and none of these are to anybody that's living upstairs. So this is going on from 10:00 in the morning until right here, 10:20. Where's the gap there, though? There's a bigger gap from 10:20, right there. 10:05 to 10:19. 15 minutes about. Okay, think about what 15 minutes, like what, did you go to the bathroom? Did you get, I mean, what happened between, so these are times of importance from 10:05 to 10:20, because there's no activity here.
And you guys remember there's 8 hours in between all of this. Their throats were like slashed and stuff, and they were stabbed.
Another time of importance would be from 4:45 or, 4:40 until 6 o'clock.
There was no way they would survive.
Or I'm sorry, until 5 o'clock. So there's like that 20-minute gap there. Then that hour gap between 5:19 and 6:19. I mean, so and we're gonna go back and look over all of these timestamps I'm pointing out with 1112 cam that we have.
Oh, so deep dive that.
The state sold it to the grand jury that none of this was happening, that people went to bed and did not wake up, and when they did, then they messaged their roommates. That's just not what happened. And if the state was, I know that they looked into the roommates, but they're going to act like they didn't. You took their phones for a reason, and you downloaded them day one to do what with them? All of this they had to have known existed. Victoria Gooch says they went through the phones, and Blaker says that they went through the phones, and they wanted to know why Dylan switched from messaging with her phone, like texts, to doing everything in apps. You guys recall that?
Yeah, the police wanted to know that.
I do. Just
I'm gonna fast forward
and I didn't do anything, and it doesn't look believable, right? And so these girls should have to go through that because you investigators didn't do your jobs. Because there may be a really big, really amazing reason why this occurred. And you can still get to your, the guy that you want to get to. But if you lie about everything, if the foundation sucks, what the hell are you doing? Then it's all going to crumble. And this is just wild to me that a judge could literally look at this exhibit and say to himself, like, a judge saw this. A judge is holding this 49-page exhibit in his hand and saying, yeah, this person wasn't asleep. Or if this is a bunch of mumbo jumbo and you don't know what it means, like, that's why you have people that are going to be at a motion limiting hearing so they can testify to what the phones say. This is what these type of reports are why people are being put to prison forever. So this isn't something that's like, oh, this doesn't mean anything. This report right here gets made up all the time in cases, and these are the type of reports that either free you or put you behind bars for life.
And it's very interesting that they just decided to unseal it.
First, hey, here's your sentence. I mean, we've now seen that scene. How are you just laying in a bedroom on the bottom level? And this is what's happening.
Like, you were so scared you ran from your room to your downstairs roommate. That's how scared you were to be alone in your room. Reese says there is a lot, but I think it's more likely she made herself ignore the red flags and panic when questioned by the police. I just don't know about all this. I read only the male went in the room and that Xana was against the door. So how did Dylan see her? Exactly.
This continues on, back and forth, outgoing messages, incoming messages, outgoing. Look at all those outgoings. Where are the incomings? One's less incoming one. Outgoing, incoming. 10, 20, and 59 seconds. I mean, she is literally blowing up.
Yeah, we're going to go over the autopsy report. I haven't done that live, but I might want to do it tomorrow. We have a full day tomorrow, but allegedly, according to their autopsies, they would have died really quick.
Somebody look at this, 10:21 in 1 second, 10:21 in 6, 10:21 in 18 seconds. These could be multiple people. This could be the same person. This could be a group message.
Over 150 stab wounds, guys.
10:21 in 37 seconds, 59 seconds, 10:22 in 22 seconds. Outgoing. And then 10:23 and 24 seconds. Now, are you up? Okay, ready? So look at all these outgoings. Right before texting Maddie, are you up? Are you up? That gap between 10:05 to 10:19. I would love to know if there's a flight of stairs in there, because then it begins after 10:19. There's a flight of stairs between 10:05 and 10:19. It's very telling. And it's only going to be one flight of stairs from the bottom level to the middle level. Okay. And then going back downstairs, which you will not see because it's not going to let you know when you descend.
Yeah, Kimmy, you make a good point. At around 4:26 a.m. that morning, Mortensen decided to join Funk in her bedroom. And while quickly rushing to get downstairs, she unknowingly saw 𝗠𝗏𝗺𝗆's dead body. So then why would you go back to bed and pretend like everything's okay, though?
But what would happen after that is all of these outgoings is, and who are these two?
Right? Or no?
And then, boom, Maddie. Then back on Insta.
So remember how I said there's an hour in between? There is. So she texts Maddie at...
between 10:05 and 10:19. It's very telling. And it's only going to be one flight of stairs from the bottom level to the middle level. Okay. And then going back downstairs, which you will not see because it's not going to let you know when you descend. But what would happen after that is all of these outgoings is, and who are these two? And then...
Yeah, she texts Maddie at 10:23 a.m.
Boom, Maddie. Then back on Insta. Then back on Snap. There's a gap here, though. 5 minutes between 10:25 and 10. And where they're located and what would come before and after. They're taught how to get around stuff. Hey, leave your phone right there. You're going upstairs. Go.
Oh, she's talking about like, okay, let's go back on that part. Because
I
we
hate to
talked
say this,
about
but
that, like sororities and fraternities and stuff.
these kids aren't dummies with their phones, okay? Because the sororities and fraternities talk to them a lot about their phones. So to sit here and say, I just want to see where the flight of stairs actually will end up lying on all of this. But just because there are none, the gaps and where they're located and what would come before and after, they're taught how to get around stuff. Hey, leave your phone right there. You're going upstairs. Go. Come back to it. Don't think that's not something that these people know. They know how to they know how to deceive. They know how to be sneaky, secretive. These are people that are used to not being allowed to use their phones at parties, do not take pictures, do not post them on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
These are their rules.
This is very true too.
So you are taught how to be sneaky, very, very sneaky when you decide to get into the Greek life. Like that is 1000%. You are taught it and you are expected to be it. $10:20 or $10:30 and 18, $10:30 and 23. Again, incoming. Look at this, incoming, outgoing. So then you can even go down here to 10:30 and 40 seconds because these are all incoming. Your phone could be sitting wherever for the incoming.
Yeah, we covered that, all the outgoing. Okay.
With the phone. These are...
I'm going to fast forward. You guys can
and
watch it in its entirety if you want. At Truth and Transparency.
Roll off all the experts. They were on it. They understood the assignment as far as to say, okay, my answer is yes. But if 911 was called within, right away, do we think that crime scene would look differently? My answer is yes. But the state's answer is going to be like, no, because the crime scene wasn't cleaned. Brian Culver just knew what to do and how to do it because he has been studying it for so long.
Brian Culver was just a mastermind. Question mark.
And here's his paper. And everything that he wrote about, this is exactly to a T, the examples of what the house will look like. This is what he did. This is how he knew how to do it. And this is exactly how the house looks. And I would say, absolutely, check mark. That all looks great, right? But then here's where you're going to get the not so fast by, game day, when Lee Corso puts on the helmet, when they say, not so fast. Because...
Yeah, I don't get that reference.
Her defense, I think that she was given not all the material. Because you can only work with what they give you. And I just would love to know if it was really set in stone. Did you have the text messaging of the surviving roommates to know that this had to have happened in such a small window of time?
And why is this just now unsealed?
I bet you she didn't have that. I would love to know if she did.
Oh.
If she did, then I got so many questions for her. Instagram, scrolling on Instagram. You up.
Yeah, so Maddie, now she's texting Kaylee.
I have no idea why those would come an hour apart. when you're seriously thinking about this, how are you texting Maddie? Because Maddie and Kaylee are two different people. And for all you know, they did not sleep in the same bedroom that night, right? So I'd be texting both of them within back to back, like, hey, where are you guys? Or, hey, are you up? Hey, you and Maddie up? Hey, you and Kaylee up? Hey, we're going to go do, so-and-so. Like we're supposed to be going and doing something, right? Like what's the normal, how do they greet each other in the mornings? And you'd have to go, you cannot just take it from this day. You'd have to go and check over the course of time.
Yeah, someone's here at 4 a.m., but I thought she was blacked out drunk. But someone's here, but not concerned, but scared. So you go to your roommate's room.
With these,
I don't know.
The dynamic of this
doesn't feel right.
Just one message like this. Do they normally blow each other up? Like my friends will always tell you, like, if I'm going to text somebody, you're going to get like 5 texts in a row because each of my texts is a sentence. And then I'd be like, Lana, why didn't you just send that all as one?
I'm guilty of that. These
investigators, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to look at the patterns. So 10:29, 10:29, 10:29. This is all incoming, outgoing messages. Also using Instagram at the same time. 10:30, 10:30, like all this. Outgoing, incoming, outgoing. And then we get on Yik Yak. First time on Yik Yak is at 11:35.
What the hell is Yik Yak?
I'm like, wow.
I guess I should look that
then
up.
Then we're on TikTok. First time on Yik Yak, and then first time on TikTok. 11:36. 11:36, a bunch of TikTok stuff, and it's, just the scrolling. TikTok. iPhone mobile container data application. TikTok.
Oh, Yik Yak is to like connect with like college students.
See what else? TikTok.
I've never heard of that.
All TikTok. I'm gonna dig in a lot deeper to break down each and every one of these if I can. But for the start of everything, I mean, this is TikTok. All of it, 11:36 in 8 seconds. All this TikTok shit.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
39, 9 seconds. And it was read at 11:39 and 17 seconds. Okay. And that's the first text message that she has received. Everything that she's received has been on an app. Her dad's text to her, which is, from my understanding, it was deleted.
This whole part is weird. I won't lie. I guess, I don't know. It depends how close you are to your dad. You're not going to tell him what's going on.
Then, now this response is mind blowing.
Wouldn't that be a good place to be like, oh my God, I was so scared last night too? Like,
oh, it's just like whoa. The response is 2 works better. You guys, at 11:39, 2 works better. Delivered at 11:39 and 42 seconds. So after she read it at 11:39 and 17 seconds, she thought about what she was going to respond for 24 seconds and says, 2 works better. What? You want to know what this is going to come across? Do you want to know how why the defense is honing in on this? This is absolutely unbelievable that at 11:39, 2 works better. There is a serious crisis right now because literally this is what's going to happen in a minute. Ready? In a minute. She supposedly is calling people over to come to the house to go upstairs. Dylan's dad writes back 11:40 and 14 seconds. Ready? And says, okay, I'll call you at 2. Just 5-10 minutes. Want to catch up. She reads this at 1:04 and 21 seconds. 1:04 and 21 seconds. Jenna writes at 11 11:50 and 55 seconds. Ready for this? This doesn't make any sense. I mean, but I'm going to make it make sense, but this should have been like a big, like, whoa. When Jenna writes, bro. 11:50 and 55 seconds, bro. Dylan does not read that text message until 2:12 and 23 seconds, bro. So that text message, think about it, bro. She does not read the text, though, until 2:12 and 23 seconds. Bro. Because guess what? Bethany calls Jenna immediately. Now tell me that's not a little weird. Tell me that's not a little weird.
That is a little weird.
38 seconds, Instagram. Then Emily LeLonc gets not called from via. She does not get called phone to phone. Ready, guys? Rose. She does not get called by using the phone, hitting Emily's number, and talking to Emily. She calls her on either one of these applications. How do you know, Lana? Right here.
It says
Emily
right
LeLonc. See how that 4B5998? Yeah. That's either Facebook, that's either Instagram, that's either Snapchat.
Maybe she didn't have her contact, Emily's contact.
So Emily, so scared, freaking out. This is just how it doesn't make it look like it's believable. You guys, if I'm freaking out so scared, what am I on Instagram for? If I'm not doing, like, I would be calling somebody. If I'm, what's going on? How am I have Bethany there. I'm there with Bethany, like, being on Instagram to do what? I can see if it's for a purpose. Hey, I'm going to go in my direct messaging app and I'm going to call somebody from that. That makes sense to me. I'm DMing somebody because I don't have their cell phone number. Awesome. That's all great. I don't care about that. Like, that could all be possible. But this is just not what that is. This is just going back on the application. The state knew, or should have known, that Dylan Mortensen was not sleeping. That's all. And then we can get to the rest later, but you have to start there. You have to start there. And it's like, Jesus. But this is what makes stuff, this is when stuff like this happens, but you want us to believe everything else. This is a lie right in our face. Like, not even our faces, but you lied to the grand jury. Why? You didn't have to. So who cares if the girl was up?
Yeah.
Why would anybody think that somebody got murdered in their home? They wouldn't. Why can't it just be that? Why would Dylan Mortensen ever think that her roommates were murdered? She wouldn't. Nobody would. But to sit here and say that she was sleeping until almost, calling 911, fuck out of here. Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that? And then to say,
it's really true. I mean, that's why I wanted to review that, because it's true. You guys can watch the whole video in its entirety if you want on Truth and Transparency's channel. She does a pretty good job with Idaho 4, at least, for reviewing documents. Ooh, Evie. Anyways, I thought that was an interesting, I know we all don't agree. We don't have to agree with her. We don't have to, be on board with all of that, what she just said and what I said. It's just the document points to different things. If the documents don't matter, then why do they matter in every other case, in every other situation? What's up with that lie about her sleeping? If it's not such a big deal. And I don't know why things get unsealed. I guess maybe now because the case is over, so they're going to think about unsealing things that were sealed. I don't really know the whole logistics behind that, but this document was not available to us last week. So yeah, Evie, I can't wait to do Corey. I'm thinking I'm going to do a marathon tonight. I need to get caught up and I don't want to skip anything. So I think I might do a marathon tonight. So if you guys are down to hang out, drink, marathon, catch up, talk, then yeah, I'll do that. I know I had a 𝗪𝐿𝐶 Fitzsimmons. Anyways, let me know your thoughts for the replay viewers in the comments as well. Brian did plead guilty, but something's off about this. Again, the 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆 family has stated their frustration with the investigation. So not saying that Dylan is a murderer, never said that. And I'm not saying that Lana is Truth and Transparency is the end all be all, but she has read a lot of the documents on her channel for Idaho 4. Dylan said more stuff later. Yeah, you know, maybe we'll start over from, I never read all the documents in Idaho 4. I have them all, and there's a ton. So maybe we'll include that into our deep dives that we're doing along with Lindsay Clancy. And we're going to be starting a new series as well. But with that being said, I guess let me know what you guys think in the comments. I am thinking of, yeah, like I said, Evie, doing a Corey Richens update tonight. I had a live scheduled right now as I'm talking about 𝗃𝐿𝐶ie Fitzsimmons. So I just pushed it back. I will see you guys there. Still going to do it. 𝗃𝐿𝐶ie Fitzsimmons case, Karen Reed as well. It's a little bit of a combo. So please hit that like button. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I haven't got caught up. So I don't like to skip days of, I want to know everything in the trials, especially ones that I do want to know about. So we can speed it up. I know one day they cut it short, so we'll do a marathon tonight. Please hit that like button on the way out. 𝗃𝐿𝐶ie Fitzsimmons is the police officer from Massachusetts. Remember that she was going through postpartum and they took her husband, or ex-fiance, took her baby because he said that she was a danger to herself and the baby, and there's a lot of stuff coming up. So a lot with the 𝗃𝐿𝐶ie Fitzsimmons case. So I will see you guys in a little bit. That's already scheduled. Please hit the like button on the way out. Thanks for being here, and I will catch you guys shortly on the next one. Toodles.